Philadelphia these days, especially when it comes to Eagles wide receiver A.J. Brown, who's widely expected to be dealt during the offseason. But quarterback Jalen Hurts downplayed any potential issues surrounding the lingering situation when speaking with the media Wednesday. Take a listen.
If AJ is traded, how would that affect the offense? How would that affect you?
Picked the right question to sip on, huh? No, I think for us, we're focused on learning the offense. It really doesn't change in terms of our approach to improve. There's an if. Obviously, been a lingering thing, but nothing can replace all the greatness that we achieved together. Nothing's changed since we last spoke. At the end of the season, we're really good.
SA, you buy in these comments from Hurts?
No, I'm not. But I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on Jalen Hurts, who I have profound respect for. He's a winner and a champion, and I got a lot of love for him. With Jalen Hurts, here's the reality, Joe. If indeed there was animosity or dissension with him and Brown, do you really think he's going to tell us? He's not that dude. He's not built like that. That's not coming out of his mouth. He's going to focus on the positives and leading the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what he's going to do. And he's going to leave the drama to everybody else. That's how he rolls. A.J. Brown's a little bit different. A.J. Brown's got a problem with the organization, multitude of coordinators, obviously a passing offense that has not evolved around him to his liking, a hesitancy on the part of Jalen Hurts to throw in the tight windows, particularly in zone coverages. These are the kind of things you've heard about why A.J. Brown has a problem with Jalen Hurts. And I think that here's what the part, and this is a tough thing to say, but we need to say it because it's important. When you think about Jalen Hurts, there is no questioning that he is a damn good quarterback. He's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. He's a winner. But that doesn't mean you're the greatest passer of the football. He has his moments, but in the same breath, if you are a wide receiver, what are you thinking about? You think about getting that damn football, and you want it often as possible. And when there's a reluctance or a hesitancy to get the ball to you, ultimately you're looking at the quarterback because you're thinking about the coordinators and the coaches, and you're saying they don't want to do that because they don't have faith that he can deliver the goods. And so you, A.J. Brown, that might have a lot to do with why you've aspired to part ways. And I can't blame him. I think that A.J. Brown personally has gotten a bad rap in all of this because some of the things that he's pointed out about the Philadelphia Eagles, he was incredibly prophetic. Yes, he was. He told everybody, listen, he said we can't rest on our laurels. This is what we got to do if we want to defend our crown. Before they won the crown, he was saying this is what we got to do to win the crown. And he wasn't wrong. We might have lamented how he might have elected to handle things from time to time. But in the end, he was right. And we don't give him enough credit for being right. Yeah, there's a way to handle things, and every truth ain't meant to be told at a certain time. I get all of that, and I understand that. But we ain't on that damn football field running routes over 17 games, putting our health on the line. You understand? That's him. He's the one doing that. And he's the one on the field, and he knows football. This is an all-world receiver. You ain't paying him $32 million a year for nothing now. Brother know how to play. And we've seen him against the Los Angeles Rams. We saw him single-handedly take over that game. He was a man amongst boys. But we also saw moments when he appeared a bit lackadaisical where his attitude got the better of him and he didn't seem to go all out. You can't have that, and I understand that. But that comes with being frustrated because you don't feel like you're listened to and your words are not being heeded appropriately, and it doesn't appear to be the priority that it needs to be. That can happen. And so we can't sit up here and look at A.J. Brown and act like it's all him. He needs to do this better. He needs to do that better. No, damn it, the Eagles need to do better. Howie Roseman, I think, is the best executive in the NFL. I profound respect for Howie Roseman. The job that he has done has been phenomenal. But this is their fifth offensive coordinator in the last 5 years. And every single time it wasn't because somebody left for a head coaching job. Sometimes it's because they got let go because their offense was inefficient sporadically or periodically. These are the kind of things that have happened. A.J. Brown does not deserve to be crucified. Yeah, you can handle certain situations a little bit better, bro. You don't need to be on the sidelines reading, you know what I'm saying, whatever the hell he was reading is during games and stuff like that. No, you don't need to be doing that, okay? But the bottom line is that man is a hell of a receiver. He's a hell of a football player. And what has come out of his mouth, he has been far, far, far more right than wrong. Rather than getting on him about his style, why don't we sit back and reflect on it and say, yo, he's had a point on far, far more occasions than people are willing to give him credit for. When he speaks on the Eagles, we should listen because he ain't lying to us when he's talked about and alluded to some of the problems that they've had. He has been proven correct.
You're right. And what happened in Philadelphia last year was a failure, full stop. Although it is live TV, so I need to continue. But that's a failure. That team was built by Howie Roseman, who I agree with your previous assessment, the best executive in the game. They should be contending at a high level for Super Bowls for a few years here in this window. And they blew it last year, in part because of the drama on offense. So the way I see it, one of the three has to go. Sirianni, Brown, or Hurts. And if Sirianni and Hurts are coming back, Brown needs to go, whether he deserves to go or not. Coming up.
Well, what about Sirianni acknowledging, yo, I need to do better? I like Sirianni. He's a Super Bowl championship coach, and he's taken them to the playoffs several times. We get that part, right? But the other side to this is that, look, man, the complaints have been persistent, and sometimes he's sticking with cats a little bit too long. He's picking and choosing when to take over and when to defer. You've got to be a bit more consistent and a bit more dogged in making sure that your stars are fed. That's what they're there for. You didn't pay A.J. Brown $32 million a year to be a damn, a decoy. You didn't do that. He's a stud. Treat him like it. Treat him like it.
All right, let's leave it there. If Shea wins another title, are we going to have to put him in legendary?
In the context of if they trade away A.J. Brown, everyone tells me they're about to trade away A.J. Brown. Do you think they get better or worse for making that deal?
I'm going to say worse early on, but I do think it's the best move for the franchise. But you can't diminish the fact that A.J. Brown is a monster at the wide receiver position. And when you remove him, you're taking a lot away from that offensive side of the ball. So they're going to have to find a way to replicate or come up with a way to manufacture the offense that he brought to this team. So the right move, but I don't think they're better right away.
So teams are having their OTAs, and some of the Eagles were talking about this. I want you to hear Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley when they were asked about the inevitability of this A.J. Brown trade.
I think for us, we're focused on learning the offense. It really doesn't change in terms of our approach to improve. There's an if. Obviously been a lingering theme, but nothing can replace all the greatness that we achieved together.
I'm a big fan of A.J. Brown, one of my really good friends, one of my favorite teammates I've ever been around. Just respect him as a man. But this is the business. It's the NFL. If I'm not here, if Jalen's not here, if whoever's not here, the show goes on.
Show goes on, and we'll see what happens. Again, the overwhelming expectation is that A.J. Brown is traded to New England at some point next week or soon thereafter. So then what? We just heard from Saquon Barkley. Barkley had the kind of year 2 years ago that frequently does two things. One, it propels you to becoming an all-time great, which it did, and they won a championship. Two, sometimes running backs are never quite the same after that. I don't know if that's what we saw last season. I happen to be a huge Saquon fan, so I hope that he bounces back and has a monster year. Could this be a season in which they ride Saquon the way they did 2 years ago?
I think it'll be a combination of the two. I think Saquon Barkley, coming off of a Super Bowl type of season, you play so many more games and see so many more hits, plays that typically a running back doesn't see. So trying to bounce back that exact next year is tough on the body and the player. A year removed, I think we get a better version. I think the other side of this is the version of Jalen Hurts that we see. I'm not going to say a make or break year, 5 different offensive coordinators in 5 years. That's a lot to put on his shoulders. But I think personally for Jalen Hurts, so much has been said. He can't get under center. He can't throw the ball in the middle of the field. Now one of the best receivers in the NFL wants out of Philly. If I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm taking all of this personal, and I'm coming back with a vendetta this season to go out there and ball and show everybody that I can do whatever's asked of me at the quarterback position and still remain one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
What do you think, Harry?
Yeah, I think for Jalen Hurts, it's being consistent as a passer. And now you have Sean Mannion coming over, and what's going to be at the forefront of that offensive system is running the football of Saquon Barkley, being the head of the snake. Now, what comes off of that run game is the play-action game. He's going to throw the ball a lot between the numbers, probably way more than he has in the past. But also being able to utilize the athleticism and getting out on the edges and, naked bootlegs and things of such. They're going to live in 12 personnel. That's 1 back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. You have Dallas Goedert. You drafted in the 2nd round Eli Stowers from Vandy. He is a matchup nightmare. This is going to allow Jalen Hurts to have I would say, a plethora of weapons to be able to get the football to. But can you be consistent as a passer? And I agree with J-Mac. If you're Jalen Hurts, you're saying to yourself, yes, I have a lot to prove to everybody and also to myself that I can get done. But it's a difference going into a season knowing that you're going to be under center from start to finish versus trying to change it in midseason and switch up things offensively.
All right, we'll see what winds up happening there. Again, that trade is expected